Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the Laces Out podcast. That's right, we're bringing NFL football your way. We are talking week 4, week 5. Week 5 already. Whew. Pretty sure the bye week's kicking. Seems early. Could be a good or a bad sign. It's going to be bad if you're playing in a fantasy league. Yeah, especially if you're losing 0-4. Before we get started, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. You know the one. You know the big one. The one that's the best. If you like NFL, you might know someone who likes NFL. Even if you don't. See someone in the street, they're wearing a jersey, you think, that guy likes NFL. Or that gal likes NFL. And you say to them, you like NFL, you like this podcast. Share the podcast, people. That's the big one. Right, let's get started. Here we go. This is CookieCast. Laces out.
Oh, you don't hear it, potentially, but we hear it. We hear it. And that means it's game time. And it's time to strap on the big boy pants and really go at it. That's correct, ladies and gentlemen. It is the CookieCast Podcast Network bringing you the Laces Out American Football NFL podcast, as it were. Welcome on in. It's myself. It's Mr. Andrew Cook, the leader, the captain of the rudderless ship. No, it's definitely got a rudder. That is Mr. Andrew Cook. How are we this week, sir?
I'm trying to work out, and I've only managed to land on one thing, and one thing only. And this, I've experienced it before, but it's always a surprise. I think I'm still suffering with hay fever.
Interesting.
I've got super, like now, like I've just done that, and now my eyes, I've got super itchy eyes, bit of a nose situation going on. Obviously, germs are flying, but it just feels like hay fever. It's like the last ditch of the hay fever. So I'm still taking hay fever medication, which feels weird when it's like 3 degrees when you get up in the morning. Other than that, I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
Excellent. We like to hear it. Obviously, not the illness aside, shall we say. So, we're here to discuss week 4 and lead on to week 5. So, week 4, we will start as we mean to go on. And obviously, like most weeks, well, all weeks, in fact, myself and Mr. Cook made predictions for all 16 of week 4's games. And those predictions went thusly. Mr. Andrew Cook, 10 of 16 selections correct. Mr. Paul Williams, 11 of 16 selections. Only just snuck in there to take the weekly win. So I only got 5 incorrect, and you got 6. So the ones we got incorrect together, we both had the Commanders to beat the Falcons. That was wrong. We both had the Chargers to beat the Giants, as I believe probably about 98% of the Western world would also have done. We had the Packers to beat the Cowboys, which neither of us was correct on. And you would have also been incorrect if you'd have beat the Cowboys to beat the Packers, as that was a tie.
Yeah,
I've played with it in the past. I believe I've given out half points and stuff like that, but then it starts to get a bit murky later on in the season. I just put it down as an incorrect selection. So those are the 3 ones that we both got incorrect. Andy also had the Vikings to beat the Steelers, which I had the Steelers. Andy had the 49ers to beat the Jaguars, whereas I had the Jaguars. And Andy had the Ravens to beat the Chiefs, whereas I had the Chiefs. Now, the ones that I got incorrect, Andy did get correct, were the Jets to beat the Dolphins, whereas Andy had the Dolphins. And I had the Buccaneers to beat the Eagles, where in fact the Eagles won. What that means is that, like I say, I got 11 of the 16 correct. Andy got 10 of the 16 correct. I get the point, which puts me to 3-1 in the overall standings. But from 64 predictions through 4 weeks, we have both now got 45 selections correct.
When you said that there was like a point, and I was like, there's going to come a point in time where my early lead is ebbed away. I imagine come next week, my early lead will be well and truly in the rearview mirror.
Not necessarily.
That's generally how it goes.
Not necessarily. You never know. Stranger things have happened. We could just see, some crazy stuff going down, and I might have just picked all 14 games. We'll get to that later on. 3 ties. You never know. We could be seeing the beginning of tie fest in the NFL. So 3-1 to me in the overall weekly standings. Side bet wise. Now, this is obviously the section where we pick 4 absolute bankers each per week to go off. I'll go for me because I was behind. So I was on 9 from 12 correct picks. I had the Bills to beat the Saints, the Broncos to beat the Bengals, the Texans to beat the Titans, and the Rams to beat the Colts. So I got a perfect 4 from 4 there. Very happy with that. 13 from 16 possible selections.
Well,
very well done. Big pat on the back there. I'll give
yeah, when you were reading those back, I was like, those are some inspired choices because 2 of those games I've absolutely picked the other way. So well done to
you. Andy started off hot with the Lions to beat the Browns. That was a very, very good selection. That was never really in doubt. It doesn't read very good from here on outwards, I'm afraid, as he had the Chargers to beat the Giants.
Honestly, this fucking Chargers game needs to go in the bin. I am sick of hearing of it, seeing it, and we will come to it shortly because your Chargers, they're gone done fucked me. That's all I'm saying. Where is Stuart Woodmansey right now? Get him on the phone. He needs to answer for his actions. He owes me £1.
I believe he's firmly ensconced within either the north or the south stand of the MKM Stadium.
I am reliably informed that is the case.
Yeah, if he didn't like the fact that the Chargers didn't beat the Giants, he's definitely not going to be ecstatic about the fact that he had the Commanders to beat the Falcons.
Mother. It's only got 1.
I mean, the fact that you were ultimately let down by the fact that you had the Packers to beat the Cowboys and it was a tie. You were dancing down Diarrhea Drive without a saddle, as I believe Crichton once said in Red Dwarf. So yes, unfortunately for Mr. Cook, that does mean that he only got 1 from 4 correct answers in the side bet this week, which drops him to 11 from 16 possible correct answers. Not ideal.
Honestly, I can see the hook on the back of the door, and I'm like, it's probably time to hang these Spurs up because fucking hell. It's okay, because it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse.
All that's left is to go through our bankers and outsiders bet that we had up from last week. I believe we were down to net around £9 to £10.
Cha-ching!
Elections, of which we had our bankers, the Bills to beat the Saints. That was no problem. The Chargers to beat the Giants.
Seriously.
Oh dear.
Seriously.
yes, our outsiders didn't fare much better. We had the Browns to beat the Lions, although we did have the Steelers to overcome the Vikings. So we did get 2 out of our 4. But as everyone knows in the betting game, 2 out of 4 is no good. 3 out of 4 is no good. You need the full boat, and we didn't get any of them. Well, we did. We got 2.
It's funny you should mention that, because my as yet undisclosed, although I'm thinking people could probably guess at this point in time, I decided that the Buffalo Bills were going to definitely beat the New Orleans Saints. Tick. I knew that the Detroit Lions were going to get it done against the Cleveland Browns. Tick. The Los Angeles Chargers to beat the rookie quarterback New York Giants. What's this red? It's like, it says a word that doesn't go with the others. It says loss. And that was that. 2 weeks in, all money gone. But just like anybody who has ever placed a bet knows, the only way to get out of a losing streak is to bet more money. And what you do is you go bigger, because you need to recoup, obviously. You know that you're on a losing streak, so the best thing to do is bet more money on more chances of getting fucked. So instead of a 3-fold, we go all the way up to a 5-fold accumulator, because this week, absolutely the week to do it. I looked at the games. I was like, I mean, come on, these are all bankers. So tune in next week to my cardboard box, because I can't even live in my car because I don't have that one. Because, you know, just like my fantasy season, my betting season, my predicting season, not the best week last week, let's just say. So, desperately holding on here, people. Skin of my teeth, fingernails, all of that. And the money that I've put down is going to get me out of this hole. Absolutely. 5-fold accumulator. Here we go. Come on. I'm going to predict some absolute bangers. I'm going to get back my lead. I'm going to get the side bet. I'm going to get the bankers bet. And it's all going to come up for me, because that's how it usually goes.
Everything's coming up, mate.
I am the Millhouse in this scenario.
Correct. So that is week 4 from our perspective, done and dusted. But I know that Mr. Cook has been ferreting away in the background, and the stats mistress has been up to her usual bag of tricks, and she has provided us with the juiciest, the tastiest, the most gluttonous of stats for this week.
I unfurled the whip and was like, whoosh. I was like, get them stats. That's how it is here at Cookie Cast Towers. We beat our employees. Don't report me to HR, because A, we don't have a HR, and B, if we did, they wouldn't. This is NFL Week 4 stats for the 2025/26, if you want to do it that way, season. Again, credit to USA Today. We don't know who at USA Today is providing these stats, but we know who provides them to us, and it's the stats mistress. So, apparently, she heard on the grapevine that we like the longest stats ever written by human hand, and got those for us because, well, stat number 2 doesn't fit on the page. Anyway, let's read stat number 1 and see if we can get it done today, shall we? New Orleans Saints quarterback Spencer Rattler made his 10th pro start Sunday, which was also his 25th birthday and 10th NFL loss. But Rattler and his team hung tough and hardly looked overmatched at a 31-19 loss to the Buffalo Bills in Western New York. If any game this season had the makings of a significant blowout, it was this one. Yeah. Number 2, settle in, grab your cocoa. New York Giants rookie quarterback Jackson Dart made his first pro start Sunday and led his previously winless team to a victory over the previously undefeated Los Angeles Chargers. I mean, there's the wound, there's the salt. Slap some vinegar on it. Keep going. Come on. Dart threw for a touchdown, ran for a touchdown, and passed his first game concussion protocol. Though that forced newly relegated backup Russell Wilson onto the field for a few snaps, but the collateral damage around the Giants' Bolts game was extensive, namely the torn ACL, per multiple reports, suffered by budding Giant superstar wide receiver Malik Nabers, if you like. His on-field partnership with Dart lasted all of a half before apparently being put on pause until 2026. I was going to send a message like last week, Sunday for definite, and I was just going to be like, oh, here we go, another high injury season incoming. I was about to say number 4. That would be silly because I didn't do number 3, and I was holding up 3 fingers, so I'll do number 3, shall I? The Chiefs smoked Paul's favorite team, the Baltimore Ravens, 37-20 on Sunday afternoon. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes throwing for 4 tutties for the first time in nearly 2 years. Helps when explosive record year wide receiver Xavier Worthy had led Kansas City with both 38 rushing yards and 83 rushing yards in his first full game of the 2025 season. Is healthy. I think you'd have to go back and read that again for it to make slightly more sense. Basically, Goody's back. Now we're on to number 4. Again, it's the Ravens who very much seem to be in serious jeopardy after falling to 1-3. Dry your tears, Mr. Williams. Picked by many to win Super Bowl 60. They're already spiraling with quarterback Lamar Jackson hamstring and their defense waylaid by concerning injuries. Like I've just said, we're looking like another injury high season. Strap in for another long one. That's what she said. The Philadelphia Eagles, perhaps somewhat quietly giving their defending champions, remain the team to beat after knocking off the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 31-25 in the weekend's only matchup of 3-0 squads. The Eagles and Bills head into week 5 as the league's only remaining unbeaten. Yet the Eagles remain consistently inconsistent on both sides of the ball. Their passing game, 112 yards, none in the second half, and passing defense, 272 net yards, both returned to the Witness Protection Program Sunday in Tampa. I was going to make a prediction, but seeing as I can't predict anything for shit, there's probably no point. Number 6 could be the biggest stat yet, so tuck in, snuggle up, and get ready for this one. The Bucks, who'd beaten the Eagles in 6 of their previous 7 meetings prior to Sunday, but still deserve a heavy dollop of credit. Despite trailing 24-3 before halftime and 31-13 late in the third quarter, they made a game of it. Tampa Bay quarterback Baker Mayfield, injured biceps and all, became the first player to throw 2 touchdown passes, covering at least 70 yards in the game in the same game since former Buck Ryan Fitzpatrick. Did it 7 years ago against the Eagles. Also, Bucks kicker Chase McLaughlin connected on a 65-yard field goal prior to halftime, the longest in NFL history that occurred indoors. McLaughlin also drilled a 58-yarder Sunday. I was going to say, one of those games very much in the, like it is sort of covered a little bit there, one of those games very much in the books of, and I mean book. The Bucks didn't win, but hell of a game. You can see that they just have. I mean, ultimately, you go up against the Eagles. You know, is it really going to be that easy? No. Did they do well to get as far as they did? Yes. Like I say, I do have a prediction. It's surrounding the fact that there are two teams undefeated so far. But I'll not bother because then something terrible will happen to, Anyway, over to you for the shortest start of the week.
Yeah, Mr. Cook isn't wrong there. So I start my stats with the Saints, Tennessee Titans, and New York Jets, and now the only remaining winless teams sitting at 0-4.
Mm-hmm.
Through 4 weeks, Atlanta Falcons running back Bijan Robinson, Buffalo Bills running back James Cook, and San Francisco 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey have had at least 1,000. That would be insane. Have had at least 100 yards from scrimmage in each game. Robinson had a career best 181 yards on Sunday, 106 receiving, 75 rushing, and scored once as Atlanta got back into the win column after being blanked in week 3. By scoring a touchdown and amassing 135 yards from scrimmage, Cook became the 4th player since 1990 to record at least 100 plus yards from scrimmage and at least a touchdown in each of his team's first 4 games. Las Vegas Raiders rookie running back Ashton Jeanty has taken some grief in this space to date, failing to rush for more than 63 yards in a game prior to Sunday. But against the Chicago Bears, he broke up a 64-yard touchdown run as part of a breakout performance that included 155 yards from scrimmage and 3 touchdowns. Props and congrats, sir. That is insane that he broke off a longer run than any of his previous games combined.
Yeah,
that is insane. Already putting in your fantasy waiver wire claim for Houston Texans running back Woody Marks. The rookie from USC entered Sunday with 90 yards from scrimmage in 3 games and nary a score. Against the Tennessee Titans, he posted 119 total yards and 2 touchdowns. As the 2-time defending AFC South champions finally notched their first win of 2025. Bills QB Josh Allen, the league's reigning MVP, continues to carve out a signature place in NFL history. He accounted for 3 touchdowns on Sunday, 2 through the air and 1 on the ground, and matched former MVP, Mr. Cook's favourite player of all time, Cam Newton, for the most games ever, 45, with at least 1 passing and rushing touchdown. And finally, the NFL's first regular season game in Ireland turned out to be a thriller.
Ireland.
Pittsburgh Steelers, owned by the Irish-rooted Rooney family, staving off a 4th quarter comeback by the Minnesota Vikings at Dublin's historic Croke Park. The league will make its debut in Berlin and Madrid in November. Goodell said on Saturday that he hopes to expand the league's footprint to Asia soon, but didn't specify a locale. The league was targeting on the world's largest continent. Surely Japan is probably going to be the sort of the main player there, or possibly Saudi.
I was just about to say, you're telling me they're not going for that Saudi money? Any sporting franchise at this moment in time that's not like, is there any of that delicious Saudi money for us? Possibly.
Go get the
how much did you pay for the wrestling again? 250 more? 10 times, you say?
Go on, lads. Go get the petrodollar. Just to finish off, the NFL will be playing its first regular season games in Australia and Rio de Janeiro in 2026. Now, technically, does Australia count as Asia? Don't know.
Yeah,
Australasia.
let's say it doesn't, and then be proved wrong by somebody on the internet, because, why wouldn't you?
We'll have to wait and see. That is the end of the stats for this week, which means that week 4, done, dusted, ended, put it in the box. We've put it into the records vault so far for 2025, and we move on to week 5. Before we get to week 5, we are going to step away momentarily, take a short break, recompose ourselves. I'm going to drink some more of this delicious, clear beverage, and then we will be right back at you with week 5's games, week 5 side bet, week 5 bankers and outsiders. Just a whole heap of cheeky nonsense. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Just like that, the break for us is over. So, NFL, week 5. Like we said, week 5 brings with it the first of a raft of bye weeks. So, the teams that won't be suiting up this week are the Atlanta Falcons, the Chicago Bears, the Green Bay Packers, and fresh off their trip to the Emerald Isle, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Those are the 4 teams that won't be getting mentioned this week. Their players.
I've got down here another team that won't be suiting up this week. That's right. My fantasy team, they won't be suiting up this week because, funny story. I was heavily winning Sunday night. I felt no real issues, qualms, or anything. I was like, this one is basically in the bag. I am comfortable with it. We all know that. And I started spitting about it. It was like, I can't fucking believe this. I can't believe it. Because I was playing the word. Oh, because the entire week I was like, this wasn't going to be a freebie for me because I'm playing the worst team in our league. I missed the 3-0 that is now 4-0 in that equation, so made me feel a little better. Not about losing or life, but anyway, that's enough about fantasy. Because fantasy can quite frankly go. Okay. I think I'm 1-3 in both fucking leagues. I'm in 2 fantasy league, and I've got the same record in both. Let's roll it into one, shall we? Let's go 2-6, if you want to look at it that way. 2-8, in fact. I can't even do the fucking maths. Anyway, let's talk about something that might stand a chance of winning.
Oh, that is high quality hijinks. So, yes, those 4 teams, no game, which drops us to 14 games. So 14 points up for grabs this week, which will take us to a total of 78 games predicted so far this season. The first of which is a Thursday night showing. And it's a tasty one, ladies and gentlemen. It's a divisional matchup. It's the San Francisco 49ers traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. And
2 3-1 teams.
It is 2 3-1 teams, and arguably you could say that it should really be 2 4-0 teams, as the Rams were very close to beating the Eagles in week 3. And arguably the 49ers shouldn't really be getting beaten at home by the Jacksonville Jaguars, but
Yeah, you're not going to hear any arguments on 50% of that from me.
What can I say? Just
I think the standard rules are the Rams can go fuck themselves.
just a real shame that the 49ers have had a loss. Posted on real shame. Real shame. We both have gone with the home team in this one, the Rams, to win the game. Next up, we have another international fixture. 2:30 local English time sees the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Cleveland Browns. Now, I don't know if this is definitely correct, but I believe this is the first time that a team will have played two international games back to back and not have been the designated home team for either one of them, which I find quite strange.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously the Vikings, which is when you boil it down even more, it kind of is even more strange because there's an argument that even though it's a road game, the Vikings will be doing less travel than they would have done if they were in the States.
I heard that somebody say that the Vikings would be staying over. And I was like, oh, they're having a sleepover. Oh, good on them.
But yes, it is the Vikings going up against the Cleveland Browns in another matchup that pits them against an AFC North team. Even though they got beat by the Steelers, myself and Mr. Cook have both picked the Vikings to bounce back on this one with a win. We move into the 6 o'clock slate of games, and we start with the Houston Texans traveling to the Baltimore Ravens. Now, obviously, this is the matchup of two 1-3 teams. And despite the Texans finding their feet in a win last week, it was only against the Titans. We must remember that. And the Ravens are surely better than they're putting on paper and on film, so to speak, currently. So I think, as does Mr. Cook, that the Ravens will bounce back with a hefty win. We have the Miami Dolphins taking on the Carolina Panthers. And even though they're away on the road, both myself and Mr. Cook have taken the Dolphins in this one. Obviously, the Dolphins will be without Tyreek Hill for the rest of the season, as I believe his knee is no longer attached to his body.
I saw a video today that was like, you can only play for the Dolphins and be happy your season is over. As they showed the video of him being carted out of the stadium, cheering. Now, I believe this is taken out of context because he was sort of obviously, celebrating the team and still, saying that they were still a great team. But it did, when taken out of context, look a lot like he was cheering for the fact that his season was over.
Yeah, not a great look from Mr. Hill. But regardless. Next up, we have the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. We've both taken the Colts. And the next game, surprising enough, and I believe Mr. Cook will actually have a look of shock on his face when I tell him it. This next game gives us our first difference of opinion game of the week. And it is the New York Giants at the New Orleans Saints.
You have not picked the Saints.
I know that this is
the 0-4 Saints. The team that you said at the start of the season predict them to lose every week. Those Saints, is that the team that we're talking about, or is this a different Saints we're currently discussing?
Listen,
go on.
All I'm saying. Teams rarely go the season losing all 16 games. They will pick up a win from somewhere, and to give them their due, they actually look pretty good against the Bills, from what I've heard. I didn't see any of the 6 o'clock games because I was busy doing something else on Sunday. So didn't really see any of this stuff, but apparently they kept it close and they didn't get blown out. So they're at home, so I would imagine that they're probably going to win one of their home games. I don't think they're going to get many easier games than the Giants. So, yes, I've gone with the Saints. Andy has, of course, gone with the Giants because he hasn't suffered a horrendous brain trauma or something like that. 2 more games in the 6 o'clock slot. We have the Dallas Cowboys at the New York Jets. Obviously, the Cowboys coming off their tie with the Packers. The Jets still looking for a first win of the season. We
when
both
you
think
literally 13 seconds ago said that a team can't go completely winless, and now you're about to discuss the New York Jets.
well, yeah, but again, they'll get a win at some point against some shit ass.
Where are they getting a win from? Which
Real
team at this moment, other than if they play the Saints?
Well, no. What I was going to say was it's a real shame they can't organise a game against themselves.
What's the ideal matchup in the NBA? The LA Lakers versus the LA Lakers. What's the worst game in NFL history? I think we had the worst game in NFL history last week, didn't we? Because it was the Jets versus the Dolphins.
Just get a morale boosting win, lads. I mean, granted, it does, but that's neither here nor there. Yes, so I think the Cowboys, even though they're on the road, I think the Cowboys will get the win here, as does Mr. Cook.
Yeah.
The Jets obviously being one of those teams that could be potentially looking for a win at some point during the season, and it might not come. The last of the 6 o'clock games sees the Denver Broncos going to Philadelphia to take on the undefeated Eagles, and we both think that will remain the case as we've gone for the Eagles to get the win. Into the 9 o'clock games, we have the Titans at the Arizona Cardinals. We've both taken the Cardinals. We have the Buccaneers at the Seattle Seahawks. Now, surprisingly, we've both gone with the Buccaneers here, even though I believe the Seahawks are the favourite in this game.
So I can tell you that from a picking perspective, and I'm using the ESPN pigskin. Both 3-1. 67% of people have gone with the book on there. So I don't know if from a betting perspective it's different, but yeah, just a 33 for the Seahawks, just through the ESPN.
I would imagine, from a betting perspective, I imagine the Seahawks get the sort of the favour because they are the home team, so that does kind of play into it a little bit.
My point on this one, personally, absolutely would not be wanting to be the team that goes up against Baker after a loss.
Good point.
Just saying, like genuinely, I will hold my hands up on this one and say I rarely change like a complete 180 on a player. I've said before about how sometimes it's just the wrong player on the wrong team. It's often a quarterback situation. Sometimes a quarterback goes into a team and you're like, you know what, I like what they're doing with that team. Sometimes they go into a team and you're like, my God, that fit is wrong. But all credit to Baker Mayfield. He has absolutely dialed it in and become the player that he probably should have been way back in the, well, I would say the Browns era, but yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. We also have the Lions taking on the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. Surprise, surprise, we've both gone with the Lions there. In the last of the 9 o'clock games, we see the Commanders going to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. Now, obviously the Chargers were humbled by the Giants the last time out, and obviously the Commanders have suffered a few injury problems. So, surprise, surprise, we have both taken the Chargers. The Sunday night football sees the New England Patriots taking on the Buffalo Bills. We've both gone with the Bills. And the Monday night football sees the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it is our final difference of opinion of the week. Mr. Cook has taken the Chiefs. I think the Jaguars will win this one. Just saying.
I'd like to see you working out on this one. Going to need to see the
Jags are at home. I think they're playing well, and I think the Chiefs can be got at. So that is my reasoning.
I agree that the Chiefs can be got at, and they have demonstrated that categorically so far this season. This is absolutely their worst start to the season. Certainly behind Mahomes, etc., etc. And from the numbers, Jacksonville, by the numbers, is the better team at this point in time with 3-1 versus 2-2. I think something may have awoken the annoying beast in Kansas City. So I believe Mahomes is going to be back to getting it done. I mean, that to me was a kind of a no-brainer, that one. However, I also agree with you. There was a part of me that was like, for lols, let's put down the Jags. But
Well, it wouldn't have been a lol if you'd gone with it, because I'd have been fully in agreement with you. So that's our 14 picks there. So that just leaves us with the side bet, and then we'll go through the bankers and outsiders that was both picked. So Mr. Cook now finds himself behind in the side bet, 11 points from 16 compared to my 13 points from 16. It's up to you, sir, whether you want to go first or if you want me to select first.
I've the pick right here in front of me because I scrolled all the way down. It's a weird one, this, because there is a time where I would have questioned picking this because of the two teams in question. As it stands at the moment, this one should be fairly easy for the Buffalo Bills to put away the New England Patriots, I think, as far as the whole theory of a bank is concerned. That is one for me. Now then, caveat that one to say, when we're sitting here next week and I'm going, fucking Patriots, man. There's nothing about it that will surprise me. I will say that. Some would say edge my bet, but you know.
I'm going to waste no time. I'm going to steal right in there and take the Detroit Lions to put a hurting on the Cincinnati Bengals. And I will follow that up by saying that the Baltimore Ravens will beat the Houston Texans. Your next two selections, please, sir.
Yeah, we've got to stay away from those Chargers, boys, haven't we? Is it too obvious to go for the Bucks? Can't mess with it. Remind me your picks.
I went with the Lions to beat the Bengals and the Ravens to beat the Texans as my first two picks.
Oh, okay. In that case, I will take the Philadelphia Eagles to beat the Denver Broncos. Again, one of those. Wouldn't surprise me if this just happened to be the random loss that the Eagles are going to take. The Eagles are on for a horrific loss at some point. Like, remember when we were talking about the Jets never getting a win this season? That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. This is what I was alluding to before. However, I will also look at taking. Ooh. You didn't mention the Colts.
Still in play?
Yeah, give me the Colts to beat the Raiders, please.
Okay. In that case, I will take the Vikings to beat the Browns in the London game.
Nice.
Now, final selection. There's some there's some dross left on here, but I have just seen one team that I'm not happy about picking them as a banker or a side bet banker because they are a bit streaky. But I will go with the Arizona Cardinals to beat the Tennessee Titans. That's not because the Cardinals are good. I believe it's because the Tennessee Titans are, I believe the phrase is, a dog shit.
Yeah, they are, but like you say, that doesn't mean the other side of the ball is good. Chiefs still available in this of our picks?
Chiefs are still a bit. I won't pick them because I don't have them winning the game.
No. Which part of me was like, you could have quite happily doubled down. You could have played both sides of the ball on this one and taken them. So I will take them to beat the Jags. I agree in all dimensions on this game. If the Jags win, I'll be like, yep, fine. If the Chiefs win, I'll be like, yeah, expected in some ways. It's going to go either way. Like as my betting history shows, I don't seem to be able to dial it in at the moment. I think as far as like games are going, there's some weird winners and losers. But let's face it, we can all agree the only real loser. Consistently, where would you like me to start? We could talk fantasy, we could talk betting, we could talk the picks. Week in, week out. That tattoo that's going to go right there is going to really look nice.
No. So, to clarify, Andy's 4 teams, he has chosen the Buffalo Bills to beat the New England Patriots, Philadelphia Eagles to beat the Denver Broncos, these are both at home, the Indianapolis Colts to beat the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Kansas City Chiefs to beat the Jaguars in Jacksonville. So 3 home teams, 1 road team. I've gone with the Lions to beat the Bengals in Cincinnati, the Ravens to beat the Texans in Baltimore, the Vikings to beat the Browns in London, and the Arizona Cardinals. I've lost them. Arizona Cardinals to beat the Tennessee Titans in Arizona. So I've got 2 road teams, 2 home teams. All that's left for us to do is to go through our bankers and our outsiders for this week's bet. And it was, I believe, my turn to pick first this week. So for my banker, I went with the Indianapolis Colts at 1-3 to beat the Las Vegas Raiders.
Very nice.
My outsider was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 11-8 to beat the Seattle Seahawks, who I believe were 5-6. Andy's banker was the Philadelphia Eagles to beat the Denver Broncos at 4-9, and his outsider was the Houston Texans to beat the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the fact that you can only get the Houston Texans at 6-4 is alarming to me, as they're in Baltimore and they are the Houston Texans. So, they are the outsider, but by much.
I felt this week's picks, rather than going like, well, that was never going to win, I was like, why don't I just try and dial it in just a touch more to get us a little closer to, you know, something that could actually win, rather than, the usual, that's never going to win Sunday. So look for that not winning this time next week.
Well, the odds are obviously not in our favour because,
as always,
but the pound that's been put on will net us a return of 10.44 to 1. So we're looking at about an £11.50-ish return on that particular stake. So watch this space. Obviously, if it comes in, we'll reinvest that money into the week after's bet. And those Super Bowl tickets will be coming our way at some point, no less. And that brings us to the end of this week's podcast. So, all that's left for me to do is to thank Mr. Cook for joining me. Thank you, lovely people, for watching, listening in. Thank you very much. Obviously, we enjoy doing this for you guys. So there you go. Join us next week where we will go through week 5's picks, week 5 selections, and we will break down week 6, predict week 6. But until then, thank you very much, and tatty bye from us.
So there you go. What do you think to that? Games gone, games to come. It's all exciting stuff. It's all heading in the right direction. You can head in the right direction by clicking all those buttons. The like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a review. Say, I like this, I like it. Check out the website, thecookiecast.com. There we have social media links and an email button. Click the email button. It populates an email automatically. It's cool like that. And then you drop in your predictions for the week and I send you a prize. And then when you beat us, I'll send you a second NFL-based prize. Right. Let's get to the games. We will see you next week. You may see us next week. Come back, join in, all the good stuff. Until then, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then.
This has been another episode of CookieCast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share and subscribe.